not only clone warriors, but cloning could be done for anything, such as DNA. There could be clones of DNA, there could be clones of cell, there could be even clones of this cat. In fact, the identical twins are clone of each other. That simply means clone are exactly similar things, right? Now the question is it possible to make a clone of an animal? Sounds pretty sci-fi, right? And it turns out it is possible, and it was possible because in 1996 there was an experiment by Prof. Keith Campbell and Ian Wilmot, and the experiment took place in the Roslin Institute, Scotland, and they cloned Dolly. So introducing Dolly the sheep. So why Dolly is so special? It turns out Dolly is actually a clone of a Finn Dorset E. Now, Dolly the sheep was pretty popular. Even still now she is pretty popular because she was fertile, she can give rise to offsprings, and she was exactly same to her mother, in terms of genetic makeup. So let us try to understand that how Dolly was created. So here is the mother of Dolly, who is a Finn Dorset E. Now from Dolly's mother, scientists took the udder cells, which is the skin cells from the mammary gland. Then from Scottish blackface E, they took the egg cells. So the Scottish blackface E work like an egg donor. Now they cultured the somatic cells from the Finn Dorset, and this somatic cell culture would be used later on. But from the Scottish blackfish E egg, they took out the nucleus with the help of a pipette. And these eggs now become enucleated. So note that there would be no genetic material of Scottish blackfish E in these enucleated egg. Now they use electric shock to fuse these two cell types, the somatic cell and these egg cells coming from the black-faced E. Now there would be a hybrid cell type. Notice that in this hybrid cell type, the nucleus or the genetic material would be totally similar to the somatic cell donor, that means the Finn Dorset, whereas the cytoplasmic material would be a mix-up between the two. Now these cells would ultimately form an embryo, and they would develop gradually. Now when the embryo reach a blastocyst stage, it is ready to be implanted to a surrogate mother. In this case, it is implanted to a Scottish blackfish E. And when the progeny was born, surprisingly enough, the progeny was exactly similarly looking like the Finn Dorset E. And they call it the Dolly. Dolly was the name given to these newborn lamb. Now Dolly was the clone of Finn Dorset E. Let me remind you, this Finn Dorset E work like a somatic cell donor. So they are pretty much similar in terms of their genetic makeup, right? Now Dolly was fully viable when Dolly grew up like her mother. She gave rise to Bonnie. Bonnie was the progeny of Dolly, and again Bonnie was exactly similar to Dolly. And yep, so Bonnie was born out of Dolly. So Dolly was fully viable, but eventually Dolly died.